Oh my God, not me going live without myself on the screen. Sorry, guys. Hey, I don't know if you could hear me up until this point. Maybe not, but welcome. Excited to be sprinting tonight. Let me know what you guys are going to be working on, and let me know if you can hear me and see me okay now. Let me know. And yeah, good evening. I'm really excited to revise today. As you may have seen from the title of this stream, I've been stuck. I've been stuck on chapter 16, I think. I've tried it a million different ways, and it's just not working. So, needless to say, I'm not thrilled about that, but tonight we're going to crack it. That's my mission for this live stream. So I would love to like sprint until I feel like I have a good grasp on how I'm going to fix this scene. Yeah, but let me know what you guys are working on. Yeah, and we'll dive into some more deets about why this scene has been so tough. Definitely let me know if you can hear me okay. Everything's good. Okay, cool. Yay, okay. Can hear and see. Great. Love to see it. Hi, Lillian. Hannah. Hi, Hannah. Riley. Hi. This is the first stream I've caught at the beginning. That's so exciting. Well, welcome. I'm so excited to have you here. I needed this. I've been working on fixing my ending to my book all day, so to push through some sprints is needed. Well, I'm glad I can provide. Glad to have you. I'll be finishing chapter 14 edits. Nice, Hannah. Love it, love it. Dinner first, then words. Working on an adult goldmine horror. Ooh, very fun, very fun. Hi, Ari. So good to see you. Welcome in. Thanks for showing up. Appreciate it. Amazing. Well, happy to see that people are excited, ready to work. Yeah, a little more context on the scene that I'm struggling with. Basically, it's a situation where I need to explain some world building stuff, but it's just not coming out good any way I try to explain it, which is always the worst. Like, I think my least favorite type of revision is when it's like, what needs to be communicated, I know, and it's the same thing that was communicated the last time I wrote the scene, but it just never comes out good. So that's what I'm struggling with at the moment, but I'm gonna nail it in this stream. Right before this stream, I think I got a little tiny bit of inspiration, so I think it's gonna work out. I honestly don't know what I'm working on. Gotta keep myself guessing. Love it. Love it. Yeah. Hi, Margot. Welcome. Welcome. Happy to have you. I know there's also some other streams going on, so we might have people trickle in later. But okay. Do we want to do like one question so that we don't have to jump in 3 minutes in? Or we could jump in. I'm fine either way. I'm going to pull up the timer. If you want to drop your questions while I do so, feel free. I also did just get back from that trip that I was on for like a week. I went to Florida for a week, and then I was sick for a week. So it's been a long time since I feel like I've done anything content related. So this feels very interesting. I tried filming today, and it was like so weird to get back into it. But yeah, we're back on the horse now. We love it. I've been writing a little bit, like 2 hours a day, which has been nice since I got back from the trip. Oh my God. Hi. Won't be staying long. It's 1 a.m. in England. But I wanted to say hello. I'm on night shift mode, so currently wide awake. Hi, Danielle. That's so cool. Love when people drop in the chat from other countries. So fun. Ooh, working on editing a writing vlog that you started spontaneously today. Love it. And my dark academia fantasy novel in your first draft. How long have you been making writing content? Let us know in the chat. Dark academia is so fun. I want to read more dark academia. Drafting a new genre, adult speculative rom-com. Ooh, that's so fun. Good luck. Best of luck. Is there a possibility that your duology becomes a trilogy? I always chuckle when I get this question. God, no. And it's not that I don't like trilogies. Love trilogies. But I think for a first project, even attempting a duology, and by first project, I mean like first project I'm trying to like finish, publish, etc. Attempting a duology was insane in itself. A trilogy, I think I would pass away. I give major props to Andy for taking on a trilogy. House of Aptos is a trilogy, and Godspeed to her. I think after the duology, I'm going to be ready to tap out. I think my next project will be a standalone. I want to like stick with standalones for a bit, I think, before I attempt any other sort of series. Yeah. That's my thought. Hi Amelia, so good to see you. You've been killing it on YouTube lately. All of your little thumbnails, I've been like watching from afar, admiring, like, oh my God, she's killing it. Ooh, great question, Hannah. Do you have an idea of how many drafts you'll do before self-pub? My guess is that it's going to end up being around 7, but not all of those drafts will be developmental. So I'm hoping that draft 4 will be the last like major developmental round, and then I'll do line edits, copy edits, and then proofreading. So my guess is it's going to end up being 7 or 8 drafts if you count like the proofreading and copy edits as new drafts, which I would. But yeah. Oh my God. Hi, Jasmine. Thanks for dropping in. Yeah, I feel like I've been MIA for a little bit. Sorry, guys. Ooh, science fantasy story. That's so fun. Okay, sorry. I'm trying to catch up on the chat. Give me a second. Hey, Brielle, recently discovered you also do live streams. Thank goodness. Need someone to hold me accountable to actually write things. Yeah, I do live streams kind of occasionally nowadays, but there's also a giant backlog of them if you ever need company while you're writing. Yeah. Hi, Irene. Welcome. Hi, Sarah. Amazing. Okay. I am going to start up a timer, and then I know there's some other questions. I'll star some for after the first sprint. And feel free to drop other questions that we can talk about after sprint 1. But we're going to go ahead and get into it. And I think I'm going to take myself off camera this time, if that's a-okay with everyone, just because I've noticed that I am able to lock in a lot better if I'm not worried about myself on camera while I'm sprinting. So hopefully that's chill. I don't feel like anyone will mind, but just wanted to mention. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. And what length of sprints do we want? I am very open-minded to whatever people are feeling. 30 minutes, 25, like are we feeling the long, the short? We might do multiple tonight, so keep that in mind. Obviously, depending on how long you can stay. You don't have to do multiple, but let me know. Okay, we're getting mixed opinions here. 25, 30. It seems like 30 is the majority. Okay, we're gonna do 30. We're gonna do 30. Let me share a little focus screen. And I will remember to start the timer this time because I notoriously forget. I'm always so paranoid I'm going to accidentally screen share the draft. That'd be crazy. Imagine. Okay. Good luck, everyone. And I'll see you in 30 minutes. Literally caught it 1 second before the noise went off. You're so welcome. How was everyone's sprint? Let me know. Mine was good. Dare I say mine was good? I think I might have a perspective direction with this scene that I don't hate. That being said, am I just procrastinating the characters having the world building conversation that they need to have by doing some vibesy stuff? Yes. The vibesy stuff is still important emotionally and such for the character. However, I haven't yet tried to broach this conversation again, so it still might all fall apart. But for now, it was pretty good. Let me know how your guys' sprint was. I'm very relieved that went decently. Something that's been very interesting with this draft is that I've noticed anytime I try to salvage anything from draft 2, like, oh, maybe I could reuse some of this dialogue, maybe I could reuse some of the action, it never really works. Like, I tried to do that with this scene, and I think that's why it's been such a grueling process, is because I was trying to save some of the previous dialogue, and I low-key think that just too much has changed for me to save much, which sucks. I'll talk about this more in a vlog, though. But those are my TLDR thoughts. Yes, let me know how your sprint went. Literally just finished a scene, timing impeccable. Love to hear it. Love to hear it. That's amazing. Also, we had some new friends join. Evelyn, thanks for rolling up. Her and some friends just did a happy hour stream, which was so fun to attend. Definitely go check out the replay of that. But welcome. Happy to have you. Welcome to everyone else who joined during that sprint. I'm supposed to be asleep, but I'm just watching Brielle. I love that. And you know what? I can't say that I'm going to force you to go to sleep. I think you should just stick around. Love it. Finishing the scene I'm on and making some tea to help. Tea is always a good assistant. Always a good assistant. I have a matcha myself, or half of one at this point. I'm trying to scale back because for a minute there, I was just making like 5 a day. Because in my mind, matcha doesn't have caffeine, which is literally objectively true. True? Objectively untrue. But in my mind, I'm like, oh, it's not coffee. I can have as much as I want. So there was a point where I was like making them, like as soon as I ran out, I would just make another one. And then I also thought about the fact that I was putting like 3 shots per matcha. No wonder my heart was racing. No wonder my heart was racing. We're working on it now. 2 a day. 2 a day. Wrote 400 words, but didn't like any of them. You know, so real. Probably going to rewrite them next sprint. Sometimes it'd be like that. Sometimes it literally do be like that. That's been happening to me a lot lately. A lot of rewriting, trying things, and it doesn't work. Nice. Okay, looks like it was productive. 633. Nice. Amazing. Love to see it. Also, welcome. Thanks for joining. Beta reading. Very fun, Ian. Love that for you. Amazing. Okay. I'm going to have to not go through every single one because I will fall over, but glad to hear it was productive. And I'm going to now consult my giant list of questions that I starred during the last sprint. About the matcha thing. Oh, I've definitely done that before. Matcha is just so good. It's hard to remember it's caffeine because it tastes like magic in a glass. Magic in a glass. I love that. It's true. Because it's tea, I feel like I don't take it seriously. I just don't think of it as a caffeinated beverage, but this is a problem. Okay. I'm going to go through some of the questions. So this was when I was talking about potentially having 7 drafts for the book. When you say drafts, do you rewrite the whole thing or copy the whole doc and just edit? So I think it depends on the draft. I think draft 2, I did quite a bit of copying and editing. Draft 3, however, I would say is like 90% rewriting from scratch. Like I kind of talked about a few minutes ago, very little of my draft 2 is salvageable because I'm changing enough things and adding enough stuff that I feel like everything is just slightly off. Like a lot of stuff just isn't usable because of how things have shifted. A lot of it just wouldn't make sense. It would be forced to fit. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to basically approach draft 3 from a complete rewrite lens and really not try to salvage things because I think it's only going to make it more difficult for myself, which sucks. But I'm sure in the future, hopefully from here on out, it will just be copying the whole doc and then tweaking from there because I want to be done rewriting. Too much rewriting. My poor little slow drafter heart can't take it, you know? So that's that. Okay. Let's see, where should we jump to next? Ooh, okay. Little streaming question. Is it hard to work StreamYard? I've been thinking of doing some writing sprints and streaming, but I'm new to YouTube. I don't think people are going to watch it. You should totally start streaming, first of all. Go for it. And also, if you like chat it up with other stream watchers in other live streams and like tell people that you're interested in streaming, I think people will watch it. And StreamYard's not hard to work at all. Very beginner friendly. Once you look up like one tutorial, you're set. Ooh, lots of good ones that I'm like, I don't know which ones I feel equipped to answer first. Let's go to this. How do you get back into writing after a long period of being uninspired? Do you test the waters a bit or dive in? Not sure what works best. Okay, to like paraphrase something that I talked about with Mick in our AuthorTube Cafe episode, I'm of the belief that like when you're not feeling great about writing, the only way to work through that really is to get back into it and have a good writing day. Like the cure for a bad writing day or writing week or writing month is going back to the page and proving to yourself that you can have a good writing day again. Obviously, you know, take the time you need, whatever, and sometimes time away does rejuvenate you, but I would say dive in. I would really say dive in. If you're working on a specific project, I'm always a fan of like doing a reread, especially if you haven't worked on it for a while. Like don't dive in blind, you know what I mean? But reread what you have, and then I say throw yourself into the wolves. Like the only thing that's really going to make you start feeling good about writing again is writing again. But that's kind of always my philosophy with everything, is just like dive in. So that might be a very me filtered response, but yeah, that's my perspective. I would say just go for it, and once you have a couple like wins writing wise, you'll start feeling better about it again. You have to like prove to yourself that it's not all doom and gloom, and the only way to do that is by writing more, you know? That's my thoughts on that. Kind of related. How did you convince yourself to come back after realizing you needed major changes? How did you find that motivation? Because I'm having a difficult time myself. Oh, it's definitely tough. Probably the hardest thing I've had to come across as a writer so far was like getting over the hump of realizing the extent of the changes. I did give myself a week off once I realized just how bad things were and how drastic the changes were, just to like regroup mentally. I do think replotting the book allowed me to get excited over it again because I realized there were new scenes and moments that I was really excited to write. And those are the things that are pulling me through now, because the chapters that I'm in right now are not scenes that I'm overly excited by, unfortunately. So yeah, I think looking for those golden like moments that you're looking forward to, having scenes that you're looking forward to can really help with motivation. And also just like keep coming back to your why, maybe your goals for the project. I think honestly, the fact that I'm planning and hoping to publish and have a timeline that I'm hoping for with that is a huge reason why I'm pushing through this at the moment and really determined to get this book back on track. I honestly don't know if I didn't have that plan of self-publishing, how I would like have this level of like drive to keep going and to stick to like a good time frame. But yeah, whatever your writing goals are, I would say keep those in mind. Remind yourself of those. Remind yourself why you love this project and what still resonates with you about it, even though you've had to do these overhauls. And yeah, I think for me, the thing that really kept me dedicated to this concept was like my love for the characters and my excitement about certain aspects of the book, even if there were other parts that were a bit of a mess. I could still hold on to those pieces that make me love this book, you know? Yeah, I think that's my thought on that one. Okay. Um, this is so sweet, Hannah. Thank you. I have to say I've been trying to write every day in July. Doing so has helped me lock in so much. Thank you for the inspiration. Love that. I'm so glad it's going well. Has anyone else attempted the writing every day thing for even a short period of time? If so, please let me know. Very curious to hear. How quickly did you write draft 1? So it's actually funny because I feel like I always forget that like a lot of people have joined after I've drafted, or have joined the channel after I've drafted. 6 months about, and same thing for draft 2. And I thought draft 3 was going to be shorter, but I think it's going to be 6 months again, unfortunately. Yeah. I think 6 months per draft is just kind of my cadence for these early developmental stages, at least for this first book. Hopefully it won't be the case forever, you know? Okay. Do we want to do another sprint? If so, how long do we want to do it? I feel like I went through those questions kind of fast, but I feel like with only one person, it does go a little faster. You know what I mean? While we weigh in on sprint length, I will also answer this one. What do you think stands out about your writing style? What makes your writing yours? I always struggle with these sorts of questions. But based on what I've heard from my beta readers, I've heard that my writing is like very they described it as being like pretty but in an accessible way, if that makes sense. Like I'm definitely not an overly flowery writer or like an overly literary writer, but they said that it was like polished but in a way that was very accessible, like easy to digest, which I found to be very sweet and very nice. And I've also heard that dialogue is a strength, which is crazy because I'm kind of shy when it comes to dialogue. Like dialogue is something I wrestle with so hard. I'm always like convincing myself that my dialogue sounds unnatural and I rewrite it a million times. But I have been told by a few people now that dialogue is a strength. So that's kind of fun. Okay, let's see. Sprint. Oh, thank you. Good answers. Thanks. I get so nervous when it comes to live stream questions, so I appreciate that. Okay, looks like maybe we do a 25 this time. Change it up. Some people craving some shorter sprints. We could do that. I also think we're going to do, I don't know how many sprints we're going to do, but I would like to do some more questions, so feel free to drop. And I'll star them for the next sprint. Okay. We're going to do a 25 just to change things up. I hope that's okay with everyone. And give me a second to adjust the clock. Okay. Oh, sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. We're working on it. We're working on it. Okay. Now I'm going to share it. Okay, good luck. And yeah, feel free to leave those cues. I'll talk to you guys in 25 minutes. Okay, bye. Hello, hello. As you might be able to tell from my big smile, that was a good sprint for me. That was a really good sprint for me. I think this scene is getting somewhere. It still might be a little convoluted, but I think we're getting somewhere. I'm doing a combination of world building through dialogue and interiority, and I think it's less painful than it was before, which is really exciting. And I'm starting to actually like the scene, which is also really exciting. I think I probably got like 400-ish, 500-ish words that sprint, which is pretty decent for me nowadays. But let me know how it was for you guys. Yeah, let me know in the chat. But yay, I'm so happy. I'm going to consider that, even though the scene is not being like done, I'm going to consider that like me having cracked the scene, because once I like know how we're going to fix it, the actual execution isn't so rough and rocky. It's just like getting myself into it. You know what I mean? Thank you guys for the cheering. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Yay. I'm so relieved. This scene, this chapter has been kicking my butt. Really, what I've learned at the end of the day is when in doubt, change everything. Like, actually, when in doubt, change everything, because the scenes that I'm writing now are just so much better than they were. They're so much better than they were, which we will be talking about. I got some questions kind of about that. Thanks, guys. Let me know how your sprint was. Nearly finished chapter 3. Awesome. 60 words. Listen, every little bit helps. Sometimes your brain is doing a lot of work and there's not a ton of words on the page, and that's okay. That's okay. Nice. Also, welcome to anyone who joined. This is a pretty good turnout for a stream, which I'm very, very happy to see, since this was somewhat spontaneous, scheduled the day of. Though low-key, as a stream viewer myself, I actually feel like I kind of prefer when streams are scheduled day of, so that it's more like, oh, I can go to this tonight. You know what I mean? It's more like exciting, maybe. But yes. Okay, looks like we got some productive sprints. 1,200 words. Stream of consciousness drafting. Very nice. Very nice. 144 words of an essay. Love it. Love it. Amazing. Okay, I'm going to visit some of the questions that you guys dropped, and we'll do some of those real quick. Oh, okay. So this is kind of piggybacking off of some of the stuff I talked about earlier. How many scenes are you keeping from your earlier drafts? What is your favorite scene, or the scene you are most looking forward to writing? So in terms of like keeping, it depends what you consider keeping, because there's a lot of scenes where there's like part of the story, part of the scene's purpose, or part of the scene's context is staying the same. Like, one could argue it's the same scene, but a lot of it has changed on like a line level, or like in terms of how I'm executing it. So there is quite a lot of scenes that at least bear resemblance to a scene from a previous draft, but something is pretty drastically changing about it, if that makes sense. Like, the plot progression in terms of like a lot of the checkpoints and stuff isn't altering that much, just how it's happening is, if that makes any sense. Favorite scene or scenes I'm most looking forward to writing this time around? Oh, there's a lot of new scenes that I'm excited about. I'm excited to execute the new, there's a lot that I'm excited, but I'm excited to execute the new climax, because I've drastically changed how things are going to go down in the climax, and I'm really, really excited about it. I've always had my characters kind of split up, but now they're both going to be actively scheming and doing things. Since this is now dual POV, I get to have Varen like actually be doing something in the climax, whereas before he was literally just sitting around because we weren't seeing him and they were separated. So I'm really excited about that. We're going to do like a whole sort of like, I don't know, jail breakout situation. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. So I'm excited about that. And like, we're going to have some seeds being planted for book 2 in the climax now. So I guess that's a scene I'm really excited for. And then there's also a scene coming up in Act 2 that's going to prompt them to go to the city where the midpoint takes place. And I'm excited to write that scene because it's going to be an instance of our main character like losing control of her magic and causing like some pretty serious destruction with it. So I'm excited for that too. There's a lot of scenes I'm excited about with this new draft. Yeah. Thank you for asking that. That's kind of fun. Oh, this is a great follow-up. If there's a scene that you're not excited about, do you think about cutting it even if it works logistically? This is what I'm dealing with right now, because these last 2 chapters I was not super excited about. For me, like, sometimes there are scenes that need to be there for a specific purpose, right? Like, in this case, these chapters need to be here for world building reasons, world building things that I decided back in draft 1 that maybe I wouldn't do them the same way now, but they're kind of like inherent to the book concept, so I have to keep them, you know what I mean? So what I've been doing, how I've been approaching this, is I want something that I like to be present in every scene. If I have to get this world building information across, what can I add into the scene that will make me interested in it? So in this case, I added in like a whole, and this was actually something I brainstormed with Andy. So shout out to Andy for giving me the ideas. But I decided to add in this whole moment of our main character. She just like shattered some glass with her magic. This is like her first realizing she has it. So I have her like trying to piece it back together. And so she's like, her hands are getting cut up. And obviously it's kind of insane for her to think she can piece it back together. But her like whole world has just been like blown open, right? So she's like not acting very logically. So having the physicality of that has really made me re-interested in the scene. And then I have her like run off and climb a tree, and like I'm just adding in more interesting action that's going to make me invested in the scene. And we can still have the same conversations, but now I actually find this scene interesting. And before it was not. So I guess the answer here is, if there's a scene that I'm not excited about, I'll just try to execute it like a bunch of different ways until I find an aspect about it to be interested in. Because I think if you're not interested in the scene, you're not going to feel good about it when the book is said and done. And I think it's important to be able to enjoy every chapter of your finished work. You know what I mean? I hope that makes sense. But I think if you're not interested in it, try some things. Maybe you can achieve the same goal or same purpose of the scene and just do it in a way that keeps you more engaged and you find fun. You know, make it fun for yourself. Add in some cool action, add in a different type of dialogue. You know, maybe the banter isn't quite right. Maybe the scene's just not quite right. For me, if I don't like a scene, it means to me I haven't gotten it right yet. I haven't nailed it yet. So that's my thoughts. I hope that's helpful. Sometimes you do need certain things to be achieved, though, and that's valid too. Just find a way to make it fun for yourself. Okay. I'll do this one really quick. How old are your characters? Around 21. I think 2 of them are 21 and then the third one is 22. So really that like very early 20s age, which I think is a fun age to write about. I think probably my next project I'll go a little older, but I'm really glad that I didn't do like teenagers. Like they're all legal 21-year-olds. Yeah. Ooh, okay. Fun question. Hannah, you are killing it with the questions today. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. You may have already answered this at some point, but do you think all your future books are going to stay in the fantasy genre, or are there other genres you plan on writing? So no, I don't think I'll stay exclusively in fantasy. That being said, I also don't see myself ever like straying very far from fantasy. Like I think I'll come back to it. Yeah, so I think I'm going to primarily write fantasy, but I'm also interested in dabbling in contemporary, whether that's like just contemporary fiction or contemporary romance. I have a feeling I'm going to kind of like maybe switch back and forth because I don't know. My heart is always going to be in fantasy, and I do also want to write some more dystopian stuff. So if you catch me writing more straight dystopian, don't be surprised. I could also see myself dabbling a little bit in light sci-fi, like not crazy world building, or like not world building, but you know what I mean? Not like crazy tech sci-fi, but like light sci-fi. But yeah, I could see myself staying mostly within fantasy, maybe dabbling in dystopian sci-fi, and then also contemporary. Those are my plans. I don't know about like on the publishing side of things though, whether or not I really see myself publishing a ton of contemporary. I think I'll have to see how I feel once I work on a contemporary, just because I don't know. It's its own beast, and even the thought of writing contemporary romance, I like it in theory, but I actually don't know how I would feel about it in practice. Like the thought of writing an entire book that's romance, I get so embarrassed when I write romance that I think I would be really freaked out. Like I'd be nervous that I couldn't make my love interest like attractive enough. As insane as that sounds. Yeah, those those are my thoughts. Those are my thoughts. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to keep up. There's quite a few questions that I want to answer. Let's see what else. Any advice for someone who is realizing she has no idea how to write exposition? Asking for a friend. Good question. Can you get a little bit more specific about like what type of exposition you're trying to incorporate or struggling to incorporate? Like character exposition, world building exposition? Because I think then we could get a little bit more into it. Let me know. How did you create the name for your book? And was it ever going to be called something else if the title you called it didn't fit? So Unraveling was originally the name of like an actual thing in the book, like a, I guess, world building thing. It's no longer the case, but I think Unraveling still speaks to a lot of what this book feels like. Like a big thing in this book is like our main character's sense of the world and what she wants and who she is unraveling and like changing. So I thought it was kind of perfect fit. And also like ribbon is a visual element of the book. So I thought that that was a nice little tie-in since, you know, you could picture like a bow unraveling or whatever. So basically I came up with the title based on something that existed in the book at the time and also something that I thought was a good encapsulation of the book. I also wanted something that like I thought could work with the genre. Like it's not screaming fantasy, but also when you see it with the cover, especially, I feel like you can kind of get the vibes. Yeah. And I opted for a simple, shorter title because titling things, like some people really love titling things and they come up with these long, like ornate titles. And I love that for them. But for me, I feel like titles are not something that I come to me super naturally or that I really like love to come up with. And so keeping it a little simpler was like a safe bet for me, if that makes sense. Will I be titling chapters? No, I will not be titling chapters. Maybe for a future project, but kind of jumping off of what I just said, I'm not the best at titling, nor do I like love doing it. So it doesn't make sense for me at this time, though I do think it's fun when people do number their chapters. Yes. Okay. Sorry. I'm trying to keep up. She's trying to keep up. Speaking of dystopian, do you have a favorite dystopian book / series? Honestly, if people would like to recommend me some dystopian book / series, I don't really have any ones that are coming to mind. I think The Hunger Games is the blueprint and definitely was a huge inspiration for how I approached this duology. I would really like to read Divergent, especially because when I was on the writing retreat with all the writing girlies, they were like, oh, this has so many like little similarities or like vibe similarities to those classic dystopian books like Divergent, even though I never read it. So I would love to read the Divergent series at some point. I own it. I just need to like crack it open. Oh my God, sorry. I want to answer all of these, but I have to like be selective. I have to be selective. Let me see. Bear with me for a moment as I like try to decide which I'm going to go for. But yes, drop your dystopian series recommendations, please. I'm very curious. Oh, okay. I wanted to answer this because I literally just dealt with this. This was literally the chapter that I was working on this very day. this very sprint. Opinions on if you get stuck in a scene, do you sit in that scene until you figure it out, or do you make a note and keep going? Any tips on getting through a hard scene? I just rallied through this. For me, at this point, in like draft 4 Brielle's headspace, I chose to keep banging my head against the wall in hopes that something would give. However, I'm not sure that that's the advice that I would give because in general, I find most of the time banging your head against the wall is not how you're going to come up. It's not how you're going to come up with the solutions. So I would say, especially if you're in an early draft and what you're struggling with is more so how to execute the scene rather than what needs to happen. Like, you know what needs to happen, but it's just not working right now. I would say leave it and come back to it because the next draft version of you is going to be a stronger writer. She's going to have more distance. She's going to have more perspective within the wider narrative. And she might take a crack at the scene and figure out exactly how it needs to happen. Or you might come up with exactly how it needs to be executed while you're in the shower or like about to fall asleep. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times the answers come at weird times and not necessarily just from banging your head against the wall. So I would say, especially if you're in an early draft, it could be a good move to just like come back to it as long as you know what needs to happen though, and it's not going to disrupt how you execute the rest of the book. That's, I think, the biggest thing. For me at this point in draft 4, I really wanted to fix it before I moved on because one of the things that I'm focusing on in draft 3, sorry, not in draft 4. One of the things I'm focusing on in this draft is like a sense of causality and like each chapter feeling really informed by the previous. And so for me, it made sense to fix it before moving on. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah. I already know about the ending of Divergent. I know pretty much the whole plot, to be clear. I like saw the movies. I know they're different. But I think I've heard enough about Divergent to know quite a lot of what happens. I just think it'd be interesting to see how it was executed. Okay. Oh, Giver Quartet. I did not know it was a series. I've seen the movie. I've not read it. Also interesting. Uglies. I also have seen the movie, have not read it. I know people weren't a fan of the movie. I also was like a little unimpressed by the movie. Is the book a lot better? Curious to hear. What are your thoughts on Fourth Wing? I haven't read it yet. I own the first 2 books, but I have not read it. I've heard a lot of mixed opinions on Fourth Wing from my friends who have read it. So I'm very intrigued to see what I'll think. Wow. Sorry. Okay. Well, how are we feeling? I can't decide. Do we do a baby sprint? Do we do a baby sprint to round us out? I just feel like it would be a shame to stop right now when the stream viewers are at their highest point. 84 people are here. Why would I cut it off? Sorry. How do you guys feel? Do you want a baby sprint? Anyone down to do a baby sprint? If you have to go, that's totally chill too. I'm sorry. Also, I know, I'm sorry to be saying that I've watched these movies and not read the books. That's my bad. I know. Okay, baby sprints, people are down. We could do like a 10-minute. We could do like a 15-minute. What do we think? God, sorry, I'm like dying. I'm gonna drink this. Okay, people are interested in the baby sprint. I'm happy to see the love for the baby sprint. 15 could be a vibe. Let's do it. I love when we do these solo fun little sprints. They're actually so fun. They're so fun. Like I feel so chill, so relaxed. Okay. 15 minutes it is. I'm gonna reset the timer. Okay. Best of luck. And I'll see you guys in 15 minutes. And we'll do, oh, I love this. Okay, Sabrina Carpenter ref. Oh, and I have the poster. I literally forgot about that. That's amazing. Okay, good luck, everyone. And maybe I'll do like a couple more cues at the end because there were quite a few we didn't go to. Okay, bye. All right, we did it. We did it. How did everyone's sprint go? Mine was pretty good again. I think I got about 200 words, which for a 15-minute, we'll take it. We will absolutely take it. I'm very, very pleased with how this scene is evolving. Let me know how everyone else's sprint was. Congrats, Evelyn, on finishing your essay. Amazing. Hi, Laura. Welcome, welcome. Alyssa, what are you doing awake at this time of night? Hello, ma'am. Good to see you. Good to see you. Okay, nice. 350 words in 15 minutes is crazy. Amazing. Amazing. Looks like some progress was made. Happy to hear, guys. Distraction. It happens. It happens. I'm stuck on where to go next with the plot, so I started editing a writing chat vlog. Nice. We love it. We love it. Alyssa, yes, we love. Welcome, Alyssa. Began my outline for chapter 2. This project has taught me how much of a plotter I am. Nice, nice. We love transitioning into a plotter. Amazing. Decided I wasn't finishing 14 tonight, but looked over 15 and 16, minimal edits. And I think I'll be able to get ahead of my deadline a bit this week. That's amazing. Congrats. Congrats. That's great. Okay. I had a couple more little cues that I wanted to do, and then we'll wrap up. So, yes. Okay. This was following up on the one about, oh my God, exposition. I love dialogue and internal world, but struggle with actual world building and setting the scene and making the reader feel like they're there, you know? I will ask you this. Are you in draft 1? Because if you're in draft 1, I think the world feeling really vivid and like real to you and to the reader is something that really does come with time. Obviously, you can know a ton of facts about the world, and I do encourage you to like teach yourself random little tidbits about the world, because you would be surprised how those tiny little details that you can drop casually will make a big difference. But I also think just the longer amount of time you spend living in this world with these characters, like you will get to know it over time too. So don't beat yourself up too much if the world is not very vivid on your first draft. I know mine was not very vivid until this third draft, I would say, and I'm sure it still has a ways to go. But yeah, something that definitely helped me when it came to making the world feel more established was just like genuinely asking myself a ton of questions about, you know, how is this city laid out? Like creating maps, you know, coming up with different terms for various programs and stuff that exist in the society, like getting a little bit more into the nitty-gritty of fleshing some of that out. And I think the way to do that is just ask yourself as many questions as possible, have your friends ask you as many questions as possible about the world, and work those little facts in, not just when you're explaining things, but in offhanded moments, you know, in the character's interiority, in the way that you're describing things. I think that's what really helps the scene to feel a little bit more vivid. I hope that's helpful. Yes. Okay. 100% on draft 1. You clocked me. I'm a very dissociated person and tend to live in my head, so I just worry my world will seem vague if I'm not careful. Got it. Yeah. Give it time, and yeah, maybe do some of the little tips that I helped with. But yeah, maybe also what you need to do is focus more on dropping into the senses if you're worried about it being vague, like getting very specific with your descriptions of details. I think that could help a lot as well. Yeah, hyper-specific descriptions I think always helps in terms of ambiance. That's one of my favorite little tricks. Okay. Do I have any tips for writing engaging or realistic dialogue? What actually genuinely helps me is picturing the characters or even just a human being saying the dialogue. If I can't picture it, if I can't hear it, it's probably because it's unnatural coming out of someone's mouth. And there is something to be said for like a lot of times writing in books is not the same as how we speak. But I do think if you can picture it coming out of the character's mouth or a character's mouth, it helps. Like something that's randomly been helping me lately is I realized that I can use Nancy Wheeler as a good sub-in my brain for my character Briar. If I can't picture Nancy Wheeler saying the dialogue line, that's something that I should consider, because they kind of have, like, in my mind, some adjacent speaking traits. Obviously, they're not a one-to-one match, but I think if you can think of an actor, or if you can visualize your character mentally, picture them saying it, the scenes of mine that come out the best are the ones where I feel like I'm literally listening to or picturing the interaction, and then the dialogue just comes out sounding more human because I'm hearing it actually being said. I feel like a lot of times my dialogue sounds a little too formal or like unnatural if I'm not doing the work to visualize. Like, I don't know, when characters start being very like formal or just like saying things in weird ways, breaking up their sentences weird, I probably need to do a little more visualizing is the vibe. But yeah, put your dialogue through a filter like that. You know, try to picture it, or even have it be read out loud to you could help. Yeah, read your dialogue out loud. Exactly. If it makes you cringe, it's probably not quite right, unless it's supposed to be cringy. This is a great piece of advice. If it sounds weird coming out of your own mouth, then it's probably weird. Try to say it conversationally. Yeah. Smart. Smart. Yes. Okay. Do you find yourself tweaking details about some of your characters while working on a draft/revision? Totally, totally. I haven't changed a lot in terms of like, well, that's not true. I was gonna say I haven't changed a lot in terms of character details. I mean, I removed my character's mom. Like my character's mom is now dead in this latest draft. Like I've not shied away from shaking things up with the characters, and I think in the past I was very fearful of disrupting anything. Like I was a little bit more of a purist in terms of like, well, what if I make a wrong move with the character? Or what if I change a character detail and then suddenly I can't find their voice anymore? And I just feel less precious about it now. If a detail change is going to make the character stronger, I'll do it. I just changed my character motivations again a little bit, or like tweaked them a little bit. So yes, don't shy away from tweaking details in later drafts. I feel like I follow people who literally have changed details in like very late stage drafts and have found that totally fine. So yeah, I definitely do tweak character details. Specifically, mostly like I haven't changed their personalities that much in my mind. To me, their personalities have gotten more and more solid with each draft, but they haven't like changed in terms of my vision for them. I think I've just gotten better at representing them accurately on the page, because I think in earlier drafts, my characterizations were a bit off. Specifically, Varen. Let's unpack this. I think when I started writing this book, I was trying to fit Varen into the idea that I had of what a love interest was supposed to be. And therefore, I made him the classic kind of like full of himself, super bantery, flirtatious, constantly making flirty comments guy, even though that didn't really make sense with who he is. Like, don't get me wrong, my characters still are flirting and stuff, and there's still banter, but I had to kind of like depart from what I thought a love interest was supposed to be to make him feel like more of a real person. So that's like been low-key a character change that I feel like happened pretty naturally over time. Okay. We'll do a couple more. Da, 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 da. When in the process, this is kind of like piggybacking off of it. When in the process did you work on your character's traits and how they interact with each other? So I didn't actually like write down a lot of character stuff until before draft 2, which is crazy. Listen, I'm not advising this. The way that I went about this book is crazy. Like, not doing character sheets before draft 1, that's nuts. But one thing I will say about character traits and how they interact with each other is I think a lot of it you have to find through doing. I think like listing out character personality traits is not super helpful to me personally. So yeah, I would say it's something that I kind of discovered as well, especially when it comes to how they interact with each other, like their dynamics and stuff, was a process. Also, bye, Hannah. Thanks for joining. Yeah, so definitely a process coming up with my characters' personalities. I feel like it's something you kind of have to find, honestly. Okay. I think we're going to close out here. Thank you guys so much for joining. I hope you had fun. Definitely more of these streams to come. And this was really lovely. I got a lot done. I feel like I cracked this chapter, which was the goal for this stream, for me at least. And I hope it was productive for you too. Yeah, thanks for being here. Hopefully, new video soonish, kind of. I need to film a vlog since I've been sick. I haven't been filming. But yeah, okay. Bye, guys. Thanks so much for joining. Yay, I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. More to come, more to come. More solo streams to come. Okay, have a good night. Bye.